the international community to strengthen its capacity to face such inevitable challenges, especially UNDP. Finally, our priority is to strengthen our ability to focus on the economic revitalization and the improvement of the security of its citizens, without forgetting that the fate of the many refugees hosted in an admirable manner in the country. Thank you.
I am Muhammad Sabra, the representative of Ministry of Environment. Climate change is a global challenge which is affecting every part of the world and damaging the ecosystem. The main causes of climate change is the emission of CO2 and toxic gases that harms both biodiversity and the human being. The Lebanese Ministry of Environment strongly believes in global commitment and reports periodically information about emission mitigation, vulnerability, gaps, constraints, and adaptation according to the requirement of UNFCCC. Such commitment to implement and fulfill Paris Agreement and sectors for environment, which include representation to provide policies and planning. As a party to the UNFCCC, Lebanon has implemented activities that lead to emission reduction based on national capabilities and circumstances, especially in power and forestry sectors. Moreover, Lebanon Climate Act initiative aims to engage the private sector and non-state actors in climate action. Ministry of Environment signed 40 reforestation agreements in Lebanon, and we are strongly insisting on keeping natural resources and reserves safe. Finally, climate change would alter to the ecosystem, such as increasing soil erosion, stimulate outbreaks of pests and disease, increase the risk of wildfires, water shortage, and the change in marine ecosystem. Partnered with UNESCO, Ministry of Environment has engaged in a series of awareness activities, especially at the school, to raise awareness about the importance of keeping the environment clean and safe. Thank you.
I am Simar Hijazi, the representative of Ministry of Energy. The Lebanese electricity sector is run by the Électricité du Liban, an independent state-owned power utility that generates, transmits, and distributes electricity to all regions. Almost all of Lebanon's primary energy requirements are imported, since we do not have any original energy sources with the exception of a small share of hydropower. Out of the 7 thermal power plants in Lebanon operate on heavy fuel oil and 4 on gas diesel oil. The Deir Amar and Zahrani power plants use the combined cycle gas turbines and can therefore operate on natural gas once available. Currently, there is no supply of natural gas to Lebanon, although a gas pipeline has been connected and a natural gas station has been constructed in Tripoli. In 2009, the average capacity imports were 1,500 megawatt, while the average demand was 2,100 megawatt, with continuous raise of 2,450 megawatt in the summer. So private-owned generators provide 33% of the total demand. The Lebanese failure to reform the electricity sector is causing an annual deficit of 1.5 billion loss annually. The crisis is caused by high fuel bill, $1,450 million, 62 to 75%, high technical and commercial losses in transmission and distribution, improper traffic structure, and low average traffic. By 2040, the temperatures are expected to increase by around 1 degree Celsius on the coast and 2 degrees Celsius in the mainland. And by 2090, they will be 3.5 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius higher, respectively. Due to the increasing temperatures, the local electricity infrastructure needs to cope with the increased demand for cooling. So here we have 2 problems: shortage and providing an increase in demand. To solve this problem, the ministry prepared different plans to reform energy supply system and reduce emission, as integrating renewable energies into oil-operated plants and or even replacing these plants with combined cycle gas turbines, hydropower plants, photovoltaic system, and wind power. Thank you.
Hello, I am Nahla, the representative of Ministry of Transportation. Lebanon has lacked a sustainable and efficient transport system and infrastructure due to 15 years of civil war that damaged cities, roads, and forced train operations. Such shortage increases the uses of cars and causes traffic congestion, especially in Beirut. Such deterioration in infrastructure deteriorates the air quality and ranks transportation as the second consumer of energy and the second air pollutant. The land transport sector consists only of road motorized vehicles. There are 1.28 million vehicles. 1.07 are private. This sector is responsible for 60% of the total oil consumption, 99.2 gasoline. So it is one of the largest contributors of air pollution. Moreover, public transportation in Lebanon is not sufficient, reliable, and cost-effective. The number of vehicles registered are 4,735 buses and 28,168 taxis. Due to traffic congestion, especially in cities, the internal combustion of engines raises the consumption of fuel and pollutant emission. This indicates that the mobility is very expensive is around $48 in Lebanon. Another mediums are aviation and marine transport. Aviation is limited and marine needs infrastructure improvement. To reduce emission, the ministry has been implementing different policies and projects. First, banning the import of old cars older than 8 years and controlling the engine annually. Two, increasing the share of small passengers vehicles to 35% and decreasing the share of large vehicles to 10% to save people's money and reduce emissions. In addition, an effective transportation system will decrease accidents, air pollution, and reduce 67% of emission, decrease cost, and reduce the stress level and increase productivity. Thank you.
I'm Reem, the representative of the Ministry of Interior Affairs and Municipality. Climate change is a real problem that the whole world must cooperate to end it. Lebanon is trying its best to reduce the crisis because we are a developing country, what puts us at the risk of climate change. Lebanese climate is suffering and the average of rainfall is decreasing by time. Being the Minister of Interior Affairs and Municipalities, we're mainly concerned about the waste crisis that hit Lebanon at the end of 2015 and the measures that must be taken to mitigate the problem. Wastes are responsible for emission of 11% of greenhouse gases in Lebanon, and for this, the municipality of Arab Salim in South Lebanon works on recycling program that obliges every house in the town to specify garbage bins for every garbage type. Thus, the recycling process will be easier. Also in South, TIR worked on laws that protect the sea from pollution. And Tier C is now considered to be one of the best waterfronts in Lebanon. Finally, we are going towards preventing garbage burning, and we are looking forward to dump wastes in scientific ways instead.
I am Jana, the representative of Agriculture Ministry. The geographical situation and characteristics of Lebanon offers a diversified agriculture production. 5 agroclimate zones characterize the country. On the coastal strip, tropicals, crops, and citrus are grown. The total cultivated area is 277,169 hectares. Half of the agriculture surface is irrigated, and only 2% of it is protected under greenhouses and units. Irrigated crops are mainly vegetables and fruit trees, whereas rain-fed cropping characterizes most olive trees, tobacco, legumes. The major agriculture area of the country are located in Bekaa, 38% of the Arab land, and North Lebanon, 1,711 Lebanese agriculture product is characterized by reflecting higher intensity of production and greater focus on higher value fruit and vegetable in comparison with Lebanon's neighbors. Agriculture production, the second national communication report to the UNFCCC in 2011 for Lebanon highlighted the negative impact that is likely to occur in the near future, leading to accelerated trend of food insecurity. Such insecurity is quite revealed from the direct effects of climate on agriculture and its production due to drought, frost, and hail. Loss of livestock in harsh winter conditions and frost, the other losses owing to short-term extreme weather events. Also, it will cause insecurity of agriculture employment. The most dangerous one is changing demography, and the reduction is export 7%. Also, forest fire and land exploitation needs management. Our ministry introduced adaptation measures to increase climate resilience as water efficiency, especially irrigation, and adopting sustainable agriculture practices and irrigation pest management techniques, and providing farmers with better timely information about pending extreme weather events. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hadid Kautharani, as the representative of Ministry of Health. The increasing vulnerability to climate change and the extreme events remains a Lebanese toughest challenge. The study revealed that climate change will impose great risk on human health. Such risks can be addressed as direct effects and indirect ones. Directly, the increase in average temperature too hot or too cold affects people with heart problems, asthma, the elderly, the very young, and the homeless. The average mortality caused by increase in temperatures is expected to range between 2,483 and 5,254 additional deaths between 2010 and 2030. Another extreme weather event, floods, can also be destructive because it causes death, injury, infectious diseases, and stress related to disorder. The indirect effects, which are caused by a drought and floods, lead to malnutrition, scarcity of clean water that spoils hygiene, and host diseases lead to migration. In addition to changing pattern in rainfall and temperature causes by spread of vector-borne diseases as malaria and fever. Adaptive measures became a priority for public health, especially for those who living in socio-economic deprived areas, Bekaa and North, to raise their adaptive capacity and to increase the access of health services. Recommended measures are adopted as raising awareness about the effects of climate change on health, strengthening institutions responsible for preparing and responding to the effects of climate change on public health. Regionally, the Ministry of Health is active and committed to regional action plan developed by WHO for period 2014-2019 to tackle climate change as one of the main target areas. The research done by WHO efforts were deployed to reduce the effects of civil war. Being the insurer of more than 60% of Lebanese, the Ministry of Public Health is insisting on 100% curative care for all Lebanese and creating preventive cycle. Thank you.
I'm Mona Banout, the representative of Ministry of Justice. Climate change is a serious issue that affects us as a whole, and we are all meant to marginalize it as possible as we can. As a Ministry of Justice, in the near future, we will be strictly concentrating on the misapplying of the legislated laws that are related to quarries that must be located at 1 kilometer as minimum distance between them, and water resources, in addition to the ones that submit cutting trees into pre-permission in order to protect both forest and intangible cultural heritage. Above that all, we will be somehow mean in punishing industries, touristic sites, and anyone else who is contributing in polluting seas along the coastline, and will be focusing on repuring water instead of polluting it. Finally, it is important to stop throwing garbage, especially the ones that are impossible to degrade with time. So we are going to follow strict measures to protect sanitation and avoid the misleading views of garbage spread everywhere. Because Earth is not mine and not yours. It is mine and yours at one, and it belongs to everyone in this world too. Thank you.
I'm Muhammad Ali Banout, the representative of Tourism Ministry. In comparison with international emitters of CO2, Lebanon is a small player. The Western industrial countries are the true heavyweights in this regard, but nonetheless contributes to climate change. Our small country suffers a steady depletion of its natural resources, whether through the excessive use of land for new luxury apartments and tourism resorts, garbage dumps, and the incredible demand of energy from fossil resources. The climate changes will have catastrophic effect on Lebanon, such as the erosion and the degradation of beaches, soil and coastal strips, desertification, heat stress, reduction of water availability, and increasing risk of fire, drought, and degradation of air quality, increased health hazards, and the loss of ecological habitats. All these changes will directly or indirectly affect the tourism sector. Climatic changes have already shown their effects in Lebanon. Rising temperatures caused mild winters and unbearable hot summers. We could get an idea of this last year when temperatures occasionally exceeded 40 degrees Celsius, which is usually rather typical for the Gulf states. Winter sport destinations suffer from the warming too. Without snow, there can be no winter sports. Such risk costs $20 million in Mazar for the Bian region. An increase in the sea level will make low-lying beach areas and islands disappear, thus diminishing the attraction for beach lovers. The mild Mediterranean climate attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors to Beirut and to the mountains to enjoy the relatively chilly air. Rising temperatures and extreme heat waves will reduce tourists. Heavy winds and rains, as in December 2010, can inflict immense damage to infrastructure, whether on the coast, in the mountains, or in the city. Adaptation. It is already well known that the developed countries are mainly responsible for the climate dilemma and thus have the most need for change. Lebanon, ranked as 76, should take some important steps to face such challenge. Strengthen the coastal zone to save both inhabitant and touristic places safe, maintaining public-private projects for financial interest, improving the interlinking of business, politics, and public service. The biggest obstacle here is a far too small budget so we should seek funds from international organizations to support our adaptable projects. Thank you.
I'm Lynn, the representative of the Ministry of Economy. Climate change, which affects directly the global ecosystem or the very natural resources, imposes direct and indirect negative effects on Lebanese economy. Lebanon, which belongs to developing countries and whose economy is fragile, ratified the UNFCCC in 1994, Kyoto Protocol in 2006, and signed Paris Agreement in 2016. The convention recognizes that developing countries should respond to climate change by the effects and coordination with their social and economic development needs to achieve sustainable economy and eradicate poverty. According to a study on the economic costs of climate change to Lebanon that was carried out by the MOE and the UNDP, climate change would impose direct and indirect unbearable economic costs on Lebanon that may reach more than $80 million in 2040. The direct costs would occur when temperature get higher, rainfall changes, and extreme weather events occur. These changes would cause natural disasters as floods, habitat change, and disease spread. The indirect costs are quite revealed from slower growth, lower business activities, low incomes, and low governmental revenue and high costs. In general, climate change will impose costs on every person, family, farm, business, community, and region of Lebanon. In brief, it affects all sectors: agriculture, industry, because it is related to agriculture, trade, and tourism. Also, climate change is likely to increase the number of climate refugees due to floods or droughts. To reduce vulnerability to climate-related unavoidable risk in Lebanon, adoptive actions should focus on strengthening resilience to adverse events when they occur. Other adaptive actions might focus on protecting existing capital from climate-related risks, such as strengthening human capital as diversifying economic skills and activity, and conserve natural capital as implement ecosystem and community-based management of natural resources. In other words, farmers need to irrigate previously rain-fed area, cool vulnerable livestock, and manage numerous pests. Government should take early steps to ensure that houses are more energy efficient and build warning systems for heat waves and disasters. Government also should build seawalls, contain sewer overflow, and strengthen the bridges and the critical component for transportation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Mohammed Shman, the representative of Ministry of Education. Being part of the affected world, Lebanon is gravely concerned about this change and seriously committed to UNFCCC framework. To achieve this goal, we are working with private sectors and civil societies on education, training, public awareness, and international cooperation and communication. First, education. Although there isn't any formal direct academic and vocational program addressing climate change directly, several faculties and research institutes in different universities as AUB, USJ, LAU offer programs indirectly related to climate change as a part of environment-related curricula. Moreover, school curricula addresses environmental issues directly and greenhouse gases are part of it. What we really need is to integrate climate change science, especially in the fields of renewable energy technologies, water and energy efficiency techniques, green buildings, hybrid cars, etc. And technical and vocational institutes and programs to armor the next generation with essential skills. Public interest and awareness. This issue of climate change has been growing globally, regionally, and nationally for the last several years. Lebanon is an active part in it and getting the utmost benefit. In addition to the governmental initiatives, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, play a key role in raising awareness. The work of NGOs covers a wide array of topics related to climate change, from policy papers to activities concerned with reforestation, biodiversity conservation, and activities related to the development and promotion of renewable energy technologies. We demand stronger participation of civil society at international negotiations, and international events can also help raise local awareness and interest. Thank you.
I'm Zahra Atfaile, the Prime Minister. Climate change is the defining threat of our time. We need to do more on 5 ambition action areas: emissions, adaptation, finance, partnerships, and leadership. Dear President, climate change has become an accepted reality. Its impact has been recorded and documented throughout the world. This serious issue will impose severe and harsh costs on every one of us, wherever we are. We are proud to say that Lebanon is not included on the list of the most polluting industrial countries, for it contributes to 0.07% in global warming, but we are committed to reduce 15% unconditionally and 30% conditionally. To achieve our commitment, all ministries should cooperate in building capacity and improving adaptation plans. First, electricity and energy. We will work on saving, reforming, and initiating sustainable energy strategies. To save money and increase our supply, we should revive the gas pipelines so the fuel sourcing will be mainly on natural gas, 66%. Save energy using solar water heaters and public light. Initiating new photovoltaic power plants and dams, wind farms, and waste-to-water plants. Second, transportation. Revitalizing public transportation and initiating new transit highways and railway train. Such efficient plan helps people to stay in their villages and work in the cities. Using catalytic converters and filters in cars to reduce the release of toxic gases as CO and NO3. Third, agricultural sector. Reviving our ancestors' ways as using rainwater harvesting systems and storing it for usage and irrigation. Improving irrigation systems and using water efficiently. Increase the percentage of farmer schools. Raise awareness campaigns to shed light on conservation and diversification. Fourth, tourism. Potential options to increase the climate resilience of the tourism sector. Reducing climate stressors on ecosystem. Conserving and protecting wetlands, soil, and other core resources. Strengthening ecosystem resilience to climate-related stressors that will occur. Maintain the coastal infrastructure to cope with disasters, storms, or floods, either by heaping up of sand or conducting other issues. Adopting early warning system related to the weather forecast. Launching annual planting campaigns for school children. Every child must plant a tree. According to education, comprehensive natural monitoring system within a cohesive climate research framework will be implemented. Researches and technologies that are done by students in Lebanese science fair are going to be adopted. Raising awareness and vocational training are a must. Economically, we should protect the natural and the human capital. Human capital represents the capacity of the Lebanese to produce goods and services and reflects their knowledge, skills, health, and similar characteristics. Natural capital represents the ecosystem's structure, function, and productivity. Although the Ministry of Energy and Water is playing a particular role in promoting awareness related to energy efficiency and conservation in Lebanon, we still need to improve community understanding and awareness of climate risks in general and to specific types of built capital, institutions, and human relationships, culturally important resources and activities. According to health, prevention is better than cure. Improve hospitalization. As a result, we must mention here that all these measures require the cooperation of all ministries. First of all, education helps in raising awareness in different sectors and implementing facility of research and science invention. We need the legislation of justice on what is needed to the law of forests, sanitation, and protection of the natural balance. Hence, if we apply all the above mentioned measures, the Ministry of Finance will be able to save up to $50 billion in 2040 in reference to UNFCCC. To sum up, we live on one earth and every one of us is a part of it. We humans are the vital part and should unite infinitely to form unbreakable bond. Lebanon believes that the USA and China should take a more active leadership position into promoting renewable energy and becoming more energy efficient. Also, it's crucial that developed nations support Lebanon with green technology. Finally, we are glad and proudly Lebanese, and this pride is going to end if and only if someone has had the great ability to write Lebanon's name on the sun by a piece of snow. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Lebanon, for all of your speeches and all of your discussions. My name is Chantal. This is Del Valle High School. We're in Austin, Texas, in the US. And these are our speeches for climate change.
Hello.
We're having a bit of technical difficulty right now.
I'm in charge as the EPA director because the following points to curtail the climate change. Mr. President, it is clear today that the amount of damage caused by pollution is set to this no return. Many will try to argue that climate change is false, but we find it that is not real. Mr. President, climate change is real, and although we cannot stop it, we can help suppress its negative effects, which is why we need to act now. And I recommend the following plan of action. First, we should start with a clean power plan. Second, negotiate with other countries to protect oceans. And finally, be stricter on our federal laws and punishments for those who harm our environment. Power plants account for nearly 40% of U.S. carbon dioxide emissions. That's more than every car, truck, and airplane combined in the U.S. With a stricter enforcement of the Clean Air Act, our carbon emissions would be reduced by 42% and achieve a 30% renewable energy by 2030. The U.S. can affordably cut global warming emissions, chart a course towards a clean energy future, and deliver significant health and economic benefits to all Americans. Next, we should negotiate with other countries to protect our oceans. Land use is complicated, unlike oceans, or at least large portions of it. They can be protected by executive fiat, just like President Bush did in 2006 when he declared the world's largest marine monument northwest of Hawaii. Mr. President, you could do the same with other parts of the ocean and even negotiate with other countries to protect oceans. Clean oceans mean a future for all of us and all of the people around the world. Remember that marine plants produce between 70 and 80% of all the oxygen in the atmosphere. And if oceans are not safe, then the people are in danger as well. But we cannot live without oxygen. Next, we should also be stricter on our federal laws and punishment for those who harm our environment. We need to stop granting favors to big companies and stop covering and ignoring the breach of law by large industries. Money is not worth the cost of innocent lives. For these reasons, Mr. President, I ask that you act now and apply my plan of action. Do not prioritize money over our citizens' lives. Thank you. Climate change.
Mr. President, I, Madison Amel, UN Ambassador, propose a policy idea to decrease the threat of global climate change. Climate change is a global issue that does not respect our national borders. Polluted discharge anywhere affects people from every region and every nation around the world. It's an issue that requires solutions that need to be coordinated at the international level, meaning adding on to the members of the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement is an agreement with the United Nations that deals with the regulation of emission of greenhouse gases. Many developing nations are opposed to the idea of the Paris Agreement because it seems unfair. However, it is more unfair to force our focus onto not only people of our own nation, but people of nations that aren't even our own. If anything, the Paris Agreement is most fair for not only the citizens of the world takes care of now, but for the generations to come. It is extremely urgent that we take charge of climate change now. People claim that global climate change should not be taken seriously because the globe's climate has always fluctuated. They don't seem to realize that the world has never changed climate as rapidly as it is now. For instance, the Pacific island nation of Kiribati has declared that the rapid increase in water temperatures over the past 6 years have left their land uninhabitable. Taking charge and fighting against global climate change now makes the most sense in regards to economics as well. The longer it takes for us to take action, the more we pay. We have to pay to our people's health, we have to pay to clean our water and our air. We have to pay to rebuild the areas that can no longer withstand life due to our new poisonous man-made smog. There's no doubt that the Earth would be better off with this agreement being put into place globally. This agreement will help push humanity closer to reaching the goals of sustainability. The agreement will provide all the tools we need in order to not only address, but slow down enough to allow humanity to adapt to the damages already committed by climate change. It is for these reasons that we see no other reasonable answers to the tragedy of climate change than this.
Good morning, Mr. President. I, Dennis Franklin, U.S. Secretary of Treasury, propose the following to change global warming. Climate change is a huge problem to today's society. It needs to address immediately. It's something we can't just put a Band-Aid over. We need to change as soon as possible. First, we need to understand where the problems of global warming are coming from. For this, we need a call of action for all the countries to come together and meet and in a public place, and we need to hear all the issues that are facing different nations around the world. Then we need to start right here in the U.S. and factor in our problems and address them immediately. To do this, we need to stop tax cut all non-carbon emitting companies, and this will promote big companies going greener faster, and this is ultimately better for the environment. Then we're going to cut all red tape off of everyday people putting clean energy into their homes. This includes solar, wind turbines, anything you can find, you can put in your homes without permits or anything like that. And then lastly, putting programs in school to teach kids about clean energy. This will ultimately provide a ripple effect for generations to come after us, because the kids are the future, and time is not to change globally. Thank you.
The song instead. Mr. President, I just got the Lorena, the National Security Advisor, proposed the following to solve this deadly global climate change that we are facing. Now, climate change will undermine efforts to decrease world poverty, directly threatening people's homes and livelihoods through increasing storms, droughts, diseases, and other stressors. Not only will this delay and prevent development, it will also increase national and regional instability and intensify income disparities between rich and poor. This in turn will lead to military confrontations over distribution on the world's wealth, which will be terrorism and transnational crime. These are crimes that have potential effect across national borders and crimes that are inside the states in which fundamental values of the international community. This does not sound like a world I would like to live in, and I've been here with you. Mr. President, I hope you take into consideration my proposition and that you will see that global warming is indeed real and not a myth.
Mr. President, I, Stephanie Cortez, the Chief of Staff, propose the following to change global climate change, but first I will state some of the facts. First, the CO2 content of the atmosphere is rising. Indigenous threat to the atmosphere is presently largely paralleled by the increase in fossil fuel combustion. Combustion of fossil fuels results in emission of CO2, so it is inevitably feasible to link the two increases. The expected increase in the energy of the lower troposphere may cause long-term changes in the climate and thermosphere, which could be characterized by increasing frequency and or magnitude of extreme weather events, an increase in sea temperatures, a reduction in ice cover, and many other changes. The greatest threat that sea levels may rise and flood large areas that are densely inhabited. So what's the single biggest way to make an impact on global climate change? We could talk to our friends and family, make sure representatives are making good decisions. And by voicing our concerns via social media, better yet, directly to our elected officials, we send a message that we care about the world. We can also encourage Congress to enact new laws that label carbon emissions and require polluters to pay for the emissions they produce. That way, we can help protect public lands and stop offshore drilling. We can also choose a utility company that generates at least half its power from wind or solar, and has been certified by Green E-Energy, an organization that bets renewable energy option. But if that isn't possible, many electric utilities now list other ways to support renewable resources on their monthly savings website. And among these, building, heating, and cooling are among the biggest uses of energy.
Mr. President, I advocate that as a Secretary of State propose the following points that advise change and dismiss global climate change. Global warming is having significant and harmful effects on our communities, our health, and our climate. Sea level rise is accelerating, the number of large wildfires growing, dangerous heat waves are becoming more common, extreme storms and time-facing rain areas, more severe droughts are occurring in others. Rising sea level, if current trends continue, it could become more difficult to grow, painful and affordable food for a rising global population. Low-lying areas, including many of the world's major cities, could be forced to build expensive flood defenses, and more extreme heat waves could threaten the safety of millions of people and cause destruction that costs a lot of money. Carbon dioxide is the most important of the six major greenhouse gases. These gases trap the sun's heat close to Earth, causing the planet to warm, which is melting our glaciers and environments. We could stop the way we burn fossils to get power, heat, transport, and emission of releasing greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. We could stop this by using renewable energy, for example, solar energy. Solar energy can not only pick up our Earth, but it can earn the climate change will undetermined effort to migrate global poverty, directly threatening people's homes and livelihoods through increased storms, drought, disease, and other stressors.
Greenhouse gas emissions are expected to double over the next 15 years, causing global temperature to rise 3 C or more by the end of the century. Nuclear power inspires public fears about safety and nuclear massive safety. In conclusion, we should promote this course of action for the reasons to change how this would affect global change. The effects of climate change pose risk not only to the environment but also to security and livelihood of people in the United States and around the world.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. On this occasion, we have heard from multiple experts about the issue of climate change, its effects on the world, and different ways to combat it, each with their own benefits and disadvantages. I would like to start our efforts to bring about a better world here in the US first. By incentivizing green energy and technology, along with reduced carbon emissions, I hope that people will at least try to use cleaner energy and create a safer environment. I would also like to give a bigger incentive to companies and manufacturers. If we can get products that we use in our day-to-day life to be made using green energy, that would also be a good step to a cleaner world. Another goal of mine is to supplement the curriculum of primary and secondary schools with better information on green technology, while bolstering STEM programs that have a focus on green energy, and supporting college majors, fields, and programs that seek to find more eco-friendly ways to live our lives. A final goal of mine is to have a call for a global summit to cut CO2 emissions, a rehashing of the Paris Agreements. The last time that we, the people of the world, attempted it, there were a few disagreements that ultimately led to countries not signing or resigning from the agreement. This time, I hope that we will be able to understand the limits of each and every country, plan accordingly for each and every country, and have each and every country execute their part of the agreement as flawlessly as possible. If we can also find ways to promote the use of green technology in international trade, such as by tying the use of green technology to exporting goods, that would be a great start to the continuation of making the world a better place. I would like, and on a final note, I would like to remind the people of the world that it is not just up to the many governments to fight climate change, but it's also up to you. It's up to the everyday person to make the greenest choices that they can to show their support for a healthier earth, to make the government work for our air, to make the legislature work for our water, and to start better business practices to show a want for their children, their grandchildren, and later generations to grow up on a sane, if not better planet than now. Thank you. So we can do questions now. Hello? They leave. We can do questions. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, I have a question for you guys for your speeches. I have a question for you guys. So, what has been an obstacle in studying what has been an obstacle in lowering carbon emissions in Lebanon? You can hear me, but I don't know if y'all can hear me. I don't know if y'all mic is on. Wait, one moment, I'm gonna check the computer. Hey, your mic is muted. The bottom left corner, if you click the mic, I can hear you because your mic is muted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. So the question is, what obstacles have you had in Lebanon with lowering CO2 emissions?
What are the schools have or should have done in Lebanon to lower CO2 emission?
Launching awareness campaigns, teaching students how to plant trees once per year in order to increase the absorption of CO and NO3.
I have a question. How is the Syrian immigrants affecting the population of Lebanon when it comes to living in shelters and stuff like that? How is that hurting the environment in Lebanon?
Immigrants leaving heavy burdens, immigrants, especially Syrians and Palestinians, leaving heavy burdens on the Lebanese environment. What should we do?
We should let them know that they must stay in Lebanon for a short period because they have to fight there. It's their responsibility to equilibrate the overpopulation because Lebanon is suffering from overpopulation. So their stay in Lebanon must be temporary.
Yeah, are there very many immigrants in your area from Syria or Palestine?
Sorry?
Are there very many Syrian immigrants in your area?
Yes. How many Syrian immigrants are in our area?
About 1.5 billion.
Yeah, and what's the population of Lebanon? It'd be equal to almost, excuse me. It's a large percentage of the population influx, isn't it?
He's asking about the population of Lebanon.
The population in Lebanon is about 6,131,255.
Okay, so 1.5 million is a large, would be a large extra addition to your population, correct? What is the role of the United States to help out Lebanon when it comes to global climate change? What would you like the United States to do to help more?
It's crucial that developed nations as the United States must support Lebanon with green technology.
Okay. And how about desalination plants or working with trying to get water in from areas into the country where they may not have areas on the other side of the mountains? Are you talking mostly solar or wind? Or are you talking about desalination or what other things, or geothermal? What type of renewable energies did you want to consider in Lebanon?
What part of renewable energy that considered for Lebanon?
Solar energy depending on wind, and renewable energy depending water.
Okay. What you know, since we're going to have people watch this from all over the place, what would you like people to know about the situation in Lebanon, and how can people around the world help out more when it comes to global climate change? Not just the United States, but other countries too. What could they do to help you out more?
You guys done anything in your school looking after looking up climate change?
Are you doing anything in your school to help?
Humanity is above all, so we think that human should not exceed economy.
Very good.
According to Hal, what is your question?
Yeah, the last question I think Chance had was.
According to Hal.
According to what?
What was it? Sorry?
Yeah, I
haven't heard it.
Yeah, I think he was asking about what are you doing at school to cut down energy consumption? What are you doing at your school?
What will we do at school? Renewable energy or doing something?
We should work on scientific researches and raise awareness campaigns according to science invention. Above that all, we have to exploit our natural resources too.
Now, I have another question. What do you learn by doing stuff like this? A project like this, what have you learned from?
What do you get from your project? Who's ready to tell him what do you get from your project?
Very good.
Although Lebanon contributes in 0.07% of global warming, it's not our responsibility to bear all these burdens, for we believe that the US and China should take a more active leadership position and promote renewable energy, and they have to be more energy efficient. Because every one of us belongs to this planet.
Chance, what have you learned?
Again, it's like you really need to talk to people to get stuff done. You have to have a good conversation. You gotta have a productive conversation about things to get work done. And so with climate change, you just have to make sure that everyone knows what's happening. And you have to have nice arguments about, hey, we should do this because XYZ, or we should do this because of XYZ. And you have to kind of figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, we found out by talking to people around the world, a lot of people like the idea of trying to change things, but they think it's always somebody else's responsibility. Well, if everybody thought like that, no one would get anything done. So what Chance is trying to say is, I guess the greatest learning from our end is that we're all in this kind of together. We need to try to do something to help each other out. I don't think we see that unity. You know, we all breathe the same air, but we all try to make light of different situations all over the air. It's the same for everyone. Anything else would you like to say from Lebanon? Tell us a little bit about your school. We'll tell you a little bit about our school. Tell us a little bit about where you're located and that.
Do you want to say something about Lebanon? Say it all together. Say it.
We are
That was very
It's all better than this.
we sure do appreciate today, and we appreciate the difficulties that you're going through, and may God bless you and all the stuff that you have to endure with helping out so many other people in your country as well. And we learned a great deal from you today, and I thought it was very well done. And we, from our end, we congratulate you very much, and we hope to do this again soon, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good night. Is it night over?
Afternoon.
Afternoon. Have a good afternoon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.